Chapter 1. Malachi's breath came in short, pained spurts, and blood sprayed from his lips as he glared up at the man, pointing the revolver down at him. Around him, the bodies of 2 other men and the stagecoach driver lay dead in the sand. The pain from the gunshot wound to his abdomen, wept crimson, and soaked his shirt and coat, and muddied the sand around him. He sniffed heavily several times as the pain threatened to overwhelm him. "Tom!" Daryl shouted from a few yards out. "Put the boy out of his misery and let's get out of here." Tom, a thick man with pale skin, graying oak hair, and an unruly beard, looked down at Malachi. "Sorry, son, nothing personal." "You pull that trigger," Malachi coughed up blood, spattering Tom's boots, "and swear I'll hunt you down and—" The sound of Tom's 1860 barking out a round silenced Malachi's threats. Tom holstered his pistol and walked back the 4 other men standing off to the side. There, Daryl, Marcus, Cliff, and Alexander were waiting next to their horses. Marcus, a taciturn-looking young man with a slim mustache and slicked-back, dirty blonde hair, spat a wad of chewing tobacco onto the ground. This wasn't even worth the hassle. A coach full of nothing. "Don't start, Marcus," Daryl rumbled as he lit a cigarette and tossed the matchstick on the ground. "We needed whatever we could get." $23 ain't worth 4 dead men, Cliff sighed as he wiped the sweat-balled top of his head. He placed his straw top hat back on, giving the illusion that he had more hair than he did. The long hair on the side and back of his head, pulled back into a ponytail, helped to add to the illusion. "We couldn't have known that," Tom protested. "Let's just mount up and break west. It'll be a while before anyone finds the bodies, and longer still before they send anyone looking for the culprits." "Still don't think we needed to shoot him," Alexander lamented as he mounted his horse. "He drew iron." Marcus spit again as he took the reins of his horse and prepared to leave. "He was an old man and he was scared," Alexander shouted back. "Bullets don't care about the age or humor of the man who pulls the trigger," Marcus growled. "He drew on us. I ain't the type to wait and see if a man will or won't pull the trigger. That's a lesson I suggest you learn if you want to make it to California alive." "Enough," Tom barked at the pair. "What's done is done. We got enough to keep us in warm rooms and drink at least till we get to Arizona. We just need to stay off the main trails till we get out of New Mexico, and we'll be fine." With that, the group went silent and began to head west. They rode for 4 hours through the New Mexico wilderness. As the sun was beginning to set, they wound their way through a small series of mesas that opened up to reveal a small ranch tucked into a valley. The adobe buildings blended seamlessly into the earth-tone hues of the terrain. Weathered wooden fences stood sentinel around the ranch. Cattle grazed lazily or took shade beneath towering cottonwood tress as they drew closer to Small House. A small stream meandered nearby, adding a sense of calm to the area. Once they were close to the small house, a man in his 40s with dark brown hair, a salt and pepper beard, and weathered features stepped out the front door. He placed a hat on his head and made his way down the porch steps. He wasn't armed as he approached the riders, holding a hand up in both greeting and a request to halt their progress. "Afternoon, gentlemen," he called to the riders. "What brings you so far out this way?" The riders looked at each other for a few moments before Tom answered, "We're headed to California." "Hoping to stake our claim?" The man sniffed and scrunched his brow. "You're a ways off the main trail to be headed to California." Tom offered a smile. "True enough. We were hoping to see a bit more of the land's beauty, but we seem to have lost our way. Finding your ranch is a blessing." "You fellas hoping to stay the night?" the man asked. "If you wouldn't mind," Tom nodded. "We wouldn't want to intrude, and we'd be happy to stay in the barn if you allowed it." The man sniffed again and crossed his arms. "Well, I'll tell you what. It seems like I'm going to be short on ranch hands this evening. If you lot will agree to keep watch over the cattle tonight, we'll provide you with some supper and $2 apiece. I have 2 take 10 of them into town tomorrow, so having some eyes on them tonight would be a great help." Tom looked at the others who were waiting to see what he would say. He adjusted his seat and gave a sigh. "Well, to be honest, we weren't looking to be put to work. But, as the good book says, the one who is unwilling to work shall not eat. We'll thank you for your hospitality, mister?" "Johann," the man replied. "Johann Olvemona." "A pleasure to meet you, Mr. Olvemona," Tom replied and tipped his hat. "My name's Tom Hart. This here's Cliff, Alexander, Marcus, and Daryl. Johann turned and waved for the riders to follow him. You men are welcome here. I'll show you where you can stable your horses. As Johann led them to a nearby barn, a pair of young boys dashed around the back of the house and stopped to look at the riders. Jedediah, Samuel, Johann called to the boys, go inside and yell your mother we have guests and to prepare 6 plates for them. Yes, Pa, the boys said in unison and took off to the front of the house. Johann opened the barn as the group dismounted. They walked their horses in and brought them to a pen where cattle would normally be kept during cold or inclement weather. I'll let you get settled, Johann said as he gave a deep sniff. The sun will be down soon, so feel free to light the lanterns. I'll bring your supper out once it's ready. There's a well not far that you can pull from to water your horses. We thank you, sir, Tom smiled. He looked at the others. Daryl, Alexander, go fetch the water. Cliff, Marcus, go familiarize yourself with the fence line. We'll decide on watches once we've finished eating.